Today we're going to be talking about distributive property. Distributive property looks like this. So we have A, parentheses, B plus C, close parentheses. You will always have a number that's on the outside, such as this A, in distributive property, and you'll always either be adding or subtracting two terms on the inside. So what we're doing for distributive property is we want to multiply each term by whatever is on the outside. So I'm going to multiply A times B and A times C. So I multiply each term times A. Then I look at what my original problem was. If there was a plus on the inside, I'm going to keep the addition sign. If there was a minus on the inside, I would write a minus sign in between these two. So let's look at what this looks like with some example math problems. So in example 1, we have 7 parentheses 3w minus 5z, close parentheses. So for the first step here, what we are going to do is multiply the number on the outside, which is 7, times each term that's inside the parentheses. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 3w. When I'm multiplying, I only focus on the coefficient, so the number that's in front here. So I multiply 7 times 3. That's going to give me 21. And I always keep this variable the same. Make sure you don't forget the variable. So this would be 21w. When I multiply the next terms, 7 times 5z, this would give me 35. Z. And then again, I want to keep either the addition or subtraction sign. So because this was a subtraction, I'm going to make sure that I keep this subtraction sign between my two terms. The very last step, step number 3, is to simplify, if possible. So if I look at my problem here, these are totally different terms. They have different letters as their variables. One is W and the other is Z. So since these are different terms, I actually cannot simplify this because these are different terms. I can't add or subtract them together. So this would be my final answer, 21W minus 35Z. So we're going to look at another problem now, following the exact same steps, just with a different problem. So my example number 2 is 2 parentheses A plus 7A. So same thing, I'm going to multiply the number on the outside, 2 times A. You can think about this as having a 1 in front. If you have A by itself, it always has an invisible 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Keep the variable, so 2A. 2 times 7a, I multiply 2 and 7, I have 14. Keep the variable. And I look at the original sign that was here, I had a plus, so I want to keep that plus sign as well. Next, I want to make sure that if I can, I simplify. This problem, you can simplify. The reason is because both of these have the same variable. They're both a. So I can add 2a and 14a together. So 2 plus 14 is 16, and I just keep the same variable that I had before. So 16a would be my most simplified and final answer. Our very last problem here, we're going to talk about distributing a negative. So for example 3, distributing a negative. This one is going to look a little bit different. So my example problem here is going to be 2x minus, parentheses, 10y plus 3x. So when I have a problem that looks like this, notice how my 2x, it is not written directly next to the parentheses. Instead, I have this minus sign between them. So if I see that it's not written directly next to the parentheses, I need to solve differently. Because there's a minus sign here, we actually want to distribute this negative. One way we can do this is think about this minus sign as a negative 1. We can always think about it this way. So a minus sign or a negative sign can be rewritten as a negative 1. Once you do that, it's a lot easier to distribute. So if I put a little 1 here, now I can just distribute this negative 1. So I do the same thing. I multiply negative 1 times each term, so negative 1 times 10y. That would give me negative 10y. And negative 1 times 3x. This would give me negative 3x. Now that I have distributed my negative sign, I can keep this 2x here, just bring it down in the equation, and I can combine like terms. So I see that I have a like term, I have 2x, and I have minus 3x. So I can simplify, combine my like terms. So 2 minus 3x, so that would be negative 1, so negative x. And then this negative 10y would stay by itself. There's nobody else to combine it with. So my most simplified answer would be negative x minus 10y.